Welcome to Golden and Blue, everybody, home of the college football fan. And don't forget about the checklist. Hat check, sunglasses check, Pepsi check, notes check, sources check, and thick skin is a check. And don't forget to sing gear to represent your team and yourself in my background. Send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657, and get yourself a shout out. On to the next video. In case you're wondering, these are the teams that we don't have represented for the mini helmets. Tulane, SMU, Navy, East Carolina, Memphis, Tulsa, Temple, South Florida, UTSA, North Texas, UAB, FAU, Rice, Charlotte, Oregon, Utah, Washington State, Arizona, Cal, Stanford, Colorado, Louisville, NC State, Wake Forest, Boston College, Virginia, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Cincinnati, Penn State, Maryland, Indiana, Rutgers, Illinois, Iowa, Nebraska, Northwestern, James Madison, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Old Dominion, Troy, South Alabama, Southern Miss, Louisiana, UL Monroe, Texas State, Arkansas State, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, Louisiana Tech, Liberty, Sam Houston State, Jacksonville State, Notre Dame, UConn, UMass, Ohio, Buffalo, Bowling Green, Miami of Ohio, Kent State, Akron, Toledo, Eastern Michigan, Western Michigan, Ball State, Central Michigan, Northern Illinois, Wyoming, Colorado State, New Mexico, Fresno State, San Diego State, San Jose State, UNLV, Hawaii, and Nevada. Shout out to the trolls. Yes, you do not have a real YouTube channel until you start getting trolls. Trolls serve a vital purpose to a YouTube channel. It keeps things interesting. It starts arguments. I actually love my trolls. Keep commenting. It actually helps with the YouTube algorithm. So I wanted to quickly go over a conversation that I had with the troll yesterday, and then we'll move quickly into the real topic of this video. And the name of this particular troll is Pitch Shot. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think he's actually a West Virginia fan, so that makes it extra interesting. Here's what he had to say. This was from yesterday whenever I posted the video talking about an ACC Big 12 merger. More BS from GBD. Never happened. ACC will not merge with Big 12 and give Big 12 P5 credibility, which they are looking for. Only possible way is ACC gets rated by SEC and leftovers go Big 12. And West Virginia form an East Coast Conference. They can add UConn, Navy, Army, maybe JMU, Appalachian State, East Carolina. Not a bad rival conference, and most will never see a natty, but could make the playoffs. Overall, that's not a hardcore troll comment. There was a little bit of trolling in there, but nothing hardcore. And I responded to that comment saying, this is just for entertainment. I try to make that perfectly clear in my intro. And who knows, maybe he's a Pitt fan. From what I've been seeing, it's either West Virginia fan or Pitt fan. Next comment he posted responding to my comment was, Golden Blue, another BS form, GBD making a prediction and then saying it is not. So he cannot get called out again as wrong. I've said many times that I've been wrong. I will be wrong. I'm human. I don't mind getting called out when I'm wrong. Channel shows Big 12 and ACC merger bait. So now he's talking about baiting and then switching, which that was part of the title because I was talking about an ACC Big 12 merger. What was I supposed to title it? He goes on to say 7 pods of 4 teams or 4 pods of 7 teams. Switch. So the first part of the title or thumbnail is the bait, but the second part of it is the switch. Okay. Nice try, but some understand this practice in very poor effort. Once again, you're lost, buddy. You have no idea what you're watching. You're not comprehending what you're watching, and you don't understand what Golden Blue is trying to do. Anyways, I responded to that. Tried to let him know, no, I literally take comments from the comments section, turn it into content, and make videos out of it. That's why I call it the speculation zone. He goes on to say, Golden Blue can't handle the truth. Still trying to get WU in the ACC from different angles. Are your sources still telling you it is a done deal? Aha, there we go. The root of the trolling. Yes. Back in 2021, I predicted, it wasn't even a speculation zone video, it was a prediction that West Virginia and Notre Dame were going to the ACC because I did have some sources telling me that it was a done deal. That didn't happen, and this guy just can't let it go. And that's what all this surrounds. That's what the focus of all this trolling from this particular guy is all about, which basically was my response to that. He goes on to say, Golden Blue Dude, GBD is still growing. Where? As a UT fake sports prediction show and then denies he predicts? No information given ever, just hearsay, but you do not predict? A NB, Neil Brown apologist for WU, and in all caps, the WU message boards think you are a joke and never recognize you as even a fan. Listen, I know that. I'm on a lot of those message boards. A lot of them don't like me over there. I understand that, but guess what? They know who I am. Never at all accurate in anything, but today do not have the balls. Okay. Even to admit his predictions just implies, so some will not call you out. Once again, I've been called out many times because I've been wrong. It happens. I'm human. What are you talking about? As far as 2021, you spent 4 years. How does that math add up? Telling everyone W to the ACC with your sources and now Big 12 merging with ACC or Pac-12 or Big 10 or SEC. You are all over the place. Yes, I did predict West Virginia and Notre Dame, but for 4 years? What are you... Golden Blue Dude is barely 4 years old. That's not even possible. What are you talking about? Conference realignment didn't enter the picture until 2021. So if you're going to troll me, at least get your math correct. Anything and everything, but do not make predictions. Just cannot handle being called out when wrong, which is most of the time. But congrats in your mind and keep growing. Best of luck. Dude, you actually make me laugh, man. You try so hard, you put all this effort into trolling, and you don't even make sense half the time. When I make these speculation videos, I literally say they're speculation videos. So obviously, you're just not understanding what you're watching. I don't know what to tell you, bud. Other than keep watching and keep these troll mints coming. It actually helps the videos. Oh, and he wanted to be crystal clear because he left one more comment there at the last second. This one's serious, guys. First 4 words, all in caps. When the Mountaineer boards, he's serious. Think you are a joke and you are supposed to be a diehard WU fan? Well, enough said. Cannot even get credibility among other WU fans, even in West Virginia? Dude, that's what you're missing. I'm not trying to get credibility. I don't care. As long as they know who I am, which they do. We're trying to grow Golden Blue, not credibility. Hate to break it to you, but I'm on those same message boards, man. I know. I already know. What you're telling me is nothing new to me. My question is, if you have that big of a problem with me, then why do you keep watching? Oh, that's right. It's for entertainment. You're admitting you've been entertained this whole time. You don't care about credibility. You want your entertainment, and I'm giving you your entertainment. Dude, come on, do better. I'm actually very open about things. I never attended West Virginia University. I never got a journalism degree. I never worked for ESPN, CBS, NBC, ABC, whatever. I've never worked for any of those companies. But hey, if you want a chance to explain yourself in detail, why don't you come on the live show this evening at 10 p.m. The floor will be yours, buddy. Yes, it's time to sit down, brace yourself, buckle up, because you are now entering the speculation zone. On to today's video, and yes, this will be a Get It Gang video. And if you don't know what the Get It Gang is, it's basically a name that came up with a group of people that leave video ideas in the comment section of my video. So if you think you have a good video idea, leave it in the comment section, and I just might use it. Today's Get It Gang comment, well, there's 2. The first one is from Robert Perez. Just a little reminder for all you haters. Fresno State will be going to the Big 12. Expect it. The second Get It Gang comment is from Salt of the Earth. He says, now that Apple is a big player in the PAC, I think Yormark knows the deal and thinks the PAC will stay together. Deal close to Big 12s and as much as $35 million per team per year. That's why this rumor that the Big 12 is talking to Fresno State. Got to get that Pacific time zone. Let me know in the comments section. And by the way, Kuz's Corner actually made a video on this particular subject. The title of that video was, Should the Big 12 Add Fresno State / Conference Realignment? So go check out Kuz's Corner and check out that video as well. And from what I'm hearing, yes, the Big 12 has been talking to Fresno State. And I'm going to do a separate video about the Pac-12 pursuing a TV deal with Apple TV. That is a fact. In fact, I will use that comment from Salt of Earth for that video as well. I think that's the first time ever that I'll use a Get It Gang comment for video content twice in 2 separate videos. I do think that the Big 12 is trying to pursue Fresno State because it looks like the Pac-12 is trying to lock together some type of deal. If I were the Pac-12, I would be heavily pursuing Fresno State. However, if the Big 12 pursues Fresno State might be more willing to join the Big 12. That would be an interesting back and forth argument between the Big 12 and the Pac-12 trying to convince Fresno State to join their conference. Could you imagine being a Fresno State going from being in the Mountain West, hardly being talked about, and now being the prize? Not have a choice between the Big 12 or the Pac-12? That would be sweet if you're a Fresno State fan. And I do think that is a possibility because I also heard that the Pac-12 is in brief or has been in brief talks with Fresno State. So they have shown some interest. And here's the thing. Salt of the Earth is correct. Brett Yormark does want that Pacific time zone. So if the Pac-12 is not going to get disbanded and he has no shot of getting any team in that Pacific time zone in the Pac-12, and yes, he's going to pursue Fresno State. And on top of that, I know we've been talking about the 4 corners going to the Big 12, but even if the Big 12 gets the 4 corners, they're still not getting the Pacific time zone. In other words, if the Big 12 is going to pursue teams out of the Pac-12, it would be the 4 corners plus a group of 5 team out in California, say Fresno State or San Diego State, or they pursue the 4 corners plus Washington State and Oregon State. I'm telling you, I don't think that Oregon State and Washington State are completely out of the equation whenever it comes to the Big 12 because Brett Yormark 100% wants that Pacific time zone. And if it takes getting Washington State and Oregon State, he's going to do that. I know, Golden Blue Dude, he's been talking to Gonzaga for basketball. Yes, that would get him the Pacific time zone in basketball, but he he wants the Pacific time zone in football. So Gonzaga would not count for that. I do think Fresno State would help the Big 12. It would give them a footprint in the state of California. Fresno State is a growing brand. They just beat Washington State, whooped Washington State in the bowl game. So their football is at an all-time high as far as value right now. Their fan base is at an all-time high when it comes to value. You're picking up viewership from the Valley. Fresno State basically owns the viewership from the San Fernando Valley. So no, I don't think it would be a terrible ad by the Big 12 by adding Fresno State. You would get another solid footprint, and it would be in a new state in the state of California. And I've done a video on the 3 important states. Whenever a Power 5 conference wants to expand, they focus on California, Texas, and Florida. Where the Big 12 already has Texas and Florida, adding Fresno State, or San Diego State for that matter, although I'm hearing San Diego State in the Pac-12, would give them a footprint in the state of California. That would give them a footprint in all 3 important states. So it's not just Fresno State adds value, but it gets their foot in the door of California. Maybe in the future, they could talk to Cal and Stanford if the Big Ten is not interested. Or San Diego State if the Pac-12 falls apart. Same thing with getting UCF in the state of Florida. That opens up the door that if the ACC falls apart, they could talk to either Florida State or the Miami Hurricanes, which I don't think they have a chance with Florida State. I think Florida State would have their choice between the SEC and the Big Ten. But they could have a choice with Miami Hurricanes. Or they could go with USF out of the AAC. That would give UCF a travel partner out of the state of Florida. So this is all about making moves to set yourself up in a good position in the future. So maybe Fresno State isn't the biggest and the baddest brand out there that the Big 12 could add, but it does set up for the Big 12 to make better moves in the future. Because even if the Pac-12 doesn't fall apart right now, they could still fall apart in the future, and Brett Yormark would already be positioned in the state of California to get those West Coast teams. Not just the 4 corner teams, but the West Coast teams. I'm talking about Oregon, Oregon State, Washington State. So this is a pretty good move by Brett Yormark, if indeed this is what he's trying to do. And I think it sets up the Big 12 quite nicely in the future. Go ahead and in the comment section. Number 1, do you think the Big 12 really is trying to get Fresno State? On top of that, do you think the Pac-12 is trying to get Fresno State? If that's the case, which conference do you think wins and gets Fresno State? The second thing is, do you think this is a good move by Brett Yormark by trying to get Fresno State? And finally, the last thing is, if the Big 12 does get Fresno State, do you think it sets them up nicely for the future, for the potential downfall of the Pac-12? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.